Welcome, demigods, monsters, and gods alike, to the Olympus Report. Today, I have a super exciting video for you because I have not only one special guest, but two special guests. I have with me the Mythos Archives and that PJO Guy.
Hello!
How's it going?
Thank you guys so much for joining me. We've got a pretty exciting video today for the viewers. We are going to be doing Percy Jackson Death Battles. Now, what is that, you may ask? We're not entirely too sure ourselves, but we've got this really fancy Percy Jackson character wheel that we have put together, and we're going to spin it, and it is going to randomly give us two characters. We have not prepared for this. We have no idea what's coming, but we're going to argue on which one we think would win in a death battle. So who is surviving? Who is dying? We're going to find out. So if you guys are good to go, I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel and see what our first match is.
Let's do it.
It's time for a death battle!
Time for a death battle. All right, here we go. Spin number one. All right, amazing. Also, I have a typo. My apologies. But our first character is Grover Underwood.
Interesting.
All right, let's spin the wheel again. All right, Hazel Levesque. So we've got Grover versus Hazel.
Interesting. Very interesting, yes.
That is a very interesting matchup.
Yep.
I'm gonna jump in with my first initial thoughts off that. I think Hazel is winning.
Same, honestly. But I don't think we should count Grover out immediately.
No, I don't think we should count Grover out immediately.
Yeah, I think honestly Hazel wipes the floor with Grover. I can't lie, guys. I'm so sorry. He's dead, but I'm trying to think how he could even have a chance.
I think it could depend on location. If it's in a forest, Grover might have a fighting chance. One, because he has his panpipes, right? He can play them. He can control nature and vines. He's in his environment. He would be better equipped to handle that type of terrain. I think that could give him an advantage.
Interesting.
We also cannot forget that he's part of the Council of Cloven Elders.
This is
and
true.
He's inherited some of the power and will of Pan.
Oh,
yes. Excellent point.
Ooh, now you reminded me of that. It's interesting. I still don't think he's winning, but okay. He does have the big scream, right? If he screams, he can pretty much scare off anybody.
Yep.
So that's an interesting thing he can do. I know we have these categories here in terms of the intellect, the strength, powers, and skill.
Mm-hmm.
Grover's a smart guy. He's pretty smart.
I would agree. I would agree. Grover is definitely
He's
smart
older.
guy.
He has a lot more experience in battle.
Mm-hmm.
Satyrs age at half the rate of a normal human or even a demigod.
He's not older. I forget that Hazel's 100 and whatever years old.
Oh, shoot, you're right.
She spent a lot of that time in Asphodel, remember?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily count those years for Hazel.
Right.
But yes, technically speaking, you are right. She is older.
I just think in terms of everything else, the strength, powers, and skill, it's pretty clear to me that it's a Hazel win.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree 100%. Like I said, I think circumstantially, if it was the right conditions, I think Grover would put up a fight. I mean, at the end of the day, Hazel, her missed manipulation powers at the end of the House of Hades, insane.
Yeah.
Going down our list of stats here, intellect-wise, Grover is pretty smart, he's pretty experienced. Hazel's been in quite a lot of fights as well. In terms of strength, Hazel's definitely the stronger of the two. The children of the big three tend to be a lot stronger than even other demigods. In terms of powers, Grover's definitely no slouch in terms of powers, and even skill, given the number of things he can do with his panpipes. We need to remember he was part of the team that imprisoned Hyperion in a maple tree. But Hazel has much greater strength as well as plenty of powers in her own right. She has effectively metal bending, as well as controlling jewels. She's already a child of the Big Three, and that is without considering her mist manipulation. Along with her skill having been in quite a few fights, especially during the Heroes of Olympus. And we even see her again in Trials of Apollo. We see that she has enough respect from the Legion to become a praetor.
Yeah. Which is kind of like the highest honor Camp Jupiter can bestow on you.
It was a good arc, I can't lie. If I were to add anything to that, it's just, I completely agree with all of that. I don't know. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's a pretty clear sweep in my opinion that Hazel would win the fight. Maybe if, like you said, if Grover was in an environment in the woods or something, maybe he'd have help, or maybe he'd be able to utilize the environment in the way to trap her with trees or something. I don't know, right? But I think his best bet is the primal scream he has. But with all the mismanipulation and all the powers as a Big Three demigod, and even to her extent she can control the ground.
Yeah.
It's kind of also an earthy power, so in a way, it's kind of interesting to pair them because they both have, in a way, nature-ish powers, right?
Powers, yeah, for sure.
And I just think that Hazel's is much stronger. So,
yeah.
She's winning the fight, but, hey man.
And we can't forget to take into account that also just Grover, too, is not a fighter.
Yes, that's
so,
true.
Yeah.
I mean, in these circumstances, we're making them fight, but I think if Grover ever did have to fight to the death, I just don't know if he'd have it in him, to be honest. Yeah, I think definitely Hazel is taking this match, but let's just go through these stats, and from 1 to 3, we'll give them all a number, and we'll see who has the highest number. So let's start with Grover. For intellect,
1 to 5.
I'd give him 1 to 5, yeah. 1 to 5. So for intellect, I'd give Grover a 4.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Strength, 3.
Yeah.
You know
Not
what?
especially strong, not especially weak.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's a good point. He's kind of in the middle. 3.
Powers,
Ooh.
I wouldn't necessarily... Do we count the panpipes as powers? Or would that be skill?
We can't assume that they have their signature items in here. Panpipes can be used for combat. Again, maple tree.
Yeah, okay. So
Powers.
I'd give him maybe a 3. 3 in powers.
I think,
what do you guys think?
Even looking at Grover's powers in the Trials of Apollo, they have come a long way.
This is true.
I would say, I was gonna originally just say 2, but no, I think you're right. He's kind of more in the middle. He's not extremely strong, but he's not really weak either. I could not beat Grover in a fight, so yeah, it's fair.
I couldn't beat Grover in a fight. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And then overall skill.
He's kind of lacking in skill.
He's kind of lacking in skill. He doesn't really have training for battle, I would say.
He's kind of
I would
fast, but besides that, I don't know. I'd give him a 2, personally.
I agree with that. I'd give him a 2.
Yeah.
Oh, great. We all agree with this. Great. There's no arguing,
Okay.
no fighting.
Yeah, surprisingly. We'll see how the other matches go. All right, let's do Hazel. Intellect. I don't know if I would think Hazel is as smart as Grover. What do you guys think?
I think
In terms of battle strategy, she's definitely no slouch, being a praetor and all.
That's true.
I think they're honestly equal.
Equal? Okay, I would agree with that.
It's kind of
Agreed.
tough to say what intellect is because it's intellect in smarts or in battle or in it's kind of hard to distinguish within this context we're putting them in because intellect is such a vast concept.
Broad term.
Yeah. But I think she's a 4, yeah, personally.
Agreed.
And then strength, I would give her either a 4 or 5.
I think she's a 5, personally.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like we've still yet to see a lot of Hazel's untapped power.
Mm-hmm.
Being a child of the Big Three already puts her towards the top of the power rankings one can be for a demigod. And that includes strength.
I've heard this before. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think it's an interesting argument, and I think there's definitely some plausibility to it, being Hazel could beat Percy Jackson. It's interesting.
I've also, yeah.
I think there's a plausibility to it. I don't think it's true, but I do think that, like, I could definitely see how someone would believe it, because she, with her whole mist thing and her abilities to just, like, overpower, like, she was actually such a goat in the final book. I think she's a 5 personally, just off of that alone, and it's the same thing with her powers. She's a 5.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say that. 100% agree.
Being a child of the big three definitely gives her way more powers and way more versatile powers, but we have to remember, on top of being a child of the big three, she also has the mist manipulation, giving her a leg up on even other children of the big three, like Percy.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that sets her apart. Like, I remember when I was reading that, I was like, oh, this is crazy. This is OP. I mean, she tricked a goddess. I mean, it doesn't get any crazier than that. And then final one, skill. I think she's great in a battle.
Mm-hmm.
I would say she's maybe not as well skilled with a sword as some other people. So I think maybe personally I'd give her a 4.
I was just about to say the same thing. What do you think?
Cool.
Her powers are definitely no joke, and she has a lot of skill with the mist, but if we're talking straight sword skill, definitely notable. You don't get to be a praetor for nothing, but not necessarily the best.
Yeah, 100%. So based off just our initial reactions, we all thought Hazel was going to win, and then on the tally, Grover comes in at a 12, while Hazel scores an 18. Hazel is murdering, unfortunately, our favorite goat boy.
Oh, don't say that.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right, I think that was a pretty good first round. Ready to jump into round number 2 if you're all ready?
Yeah.
All right, our first competitor is Tyson.
Ooh, nice. And that's coming out soon, the Sea of Monsters.
It's very fitting.
Right.
Versus Frank Zhang. Zhang. I never know the correct pronunciation. I've heard it multiple different ways.
I believe
I
it's
personally
Zhang.
said Zhang. And then I remember listening to the audiobooks and they said Zhang. I was like, oh. But the audiobooks have been wrong on many of an occasion.
I remember Rick calling him Zong.
Really? Okay.
Very,
I
very
stand
interesting.
corrected.
Who knows what's real?
Well, anyway, it is Frank versus Tyson, which I think is a super interesting matchup.
The son of Poseidon versus the legacy of Poseidon.
Yeah. This one is not as clear-cut. I think on my first initial reaction, I'm giving it to Frank, but I don't think it would be an easy win, for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think I'm going to have to actually agree with you on that one. Yeah. Frank's kind of... I don't think it's as clear-cut as it was for Grover versus Hazel, but I do think that Frank still takes it.
I agree. Tyson is a direct child of Poseidon as opposed to Frank, who's a very distant descendant of Poseidon. The children of the big three are much stronger than other children of the gods. And while Tyson is a Cyclops, he is definitely very strong and also a gifted smithy. Frank may not have as raw powerful of an ancestry as Tyson, arguably, but he was born so powerful that he was cursed to die an early grave, and this is one that he later overcame. He may not have Tyson's raw strength, at least unless he turns into something that's a lot bigger. He definitely has the battle strategy, as well as plenty of versatile abilities of his own.
Frank, he not only does he have the Poseidon lineage, but he is like a child of Mars, which is like the war god. And I mean, we saw Clarice take down a dragon, so we know how powerful his children can be. So he's definitely got raw strength, for sure. Maybe not as much as Tyson, but I think Frank more than makes up for that in his leadership aspect. Like, he can think clearly in a battle. He strategizes, he plans. He's skilled with a bow, which is not common for children of Mars, which is great for long distance attacks. I don't know if that would necessarily help in this instant, though, because I think Tyson would probably be more immune to bows and physical attacks. I think it would take more to take Tyson down. And then, I mean, the obvious thing is like he can transform into literally anything, which is what I think gives him that slight edge over Tyson's strength.
100%. Great points, great points.
Considering raw strength, I don't think we should ignore the fact that Frank can turn into a dragon.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's a freaking dragon.
If I were to add anything, it'd be Tyson loses. That's pretty much it. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, he's pretty much done. I want to say Tyson has like at least a shot in terms of maybe if he's underwater, Tyson would have probably a way to take him out.
This is true, yeah.
But because I know Frank can turn to a dolphin, but I don't think he's as powerful
as a dolphin
to do stuff like that. But it leaves a question: could he turn into like a big sea creature? Because he can turn into a dragon.
I would say yes.
He can change the size of what he turns into, even if he's turning into a non-mythical animal. We need to remember in Tyrant's Tomb, Hazel described him turning into a giant snake.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
There is another potential leg up Tyson might have, and that is if he's allowed to craft weapons and armor ahead of time, such as the shield that he gave to Percy.
Yeah, if he had time to prepare, for sure.
That definitely leaves a lot of questions, like if they both had time to prepare. Because then if we're saying that he has time to prepare, then that also means Frank should have time to prepare. So he'd have like all his equipment and all that stuff. But yeah, I think even if he had time to prepare, like you're not beating a dragon, you're not beating the sea creature, you're not beating his like raw strength and his energy and his skill as a fighter. And we all know what happens at the end of Tyrant's Tomb. He's not vulnerable anymore, right? So he can't even be burned. Like he's kind of overpowered. I'm not gonna lie. So.
That was the point I was gonna bring up. If we're talking about like Frank pre-Tyrant's Tomb, if Tyson could figure out how to burn that wood, because Tyson is fireproof, that's a huge advantage over Frank. But if we're talking post-Tyrant's Tomb Frank, who no longer has that weakness and is now just like this super powerful demigod with no Achilles heel, like it's no question, no match. All right, so you want to give out some tallies here? So let's start with Tyson, intellect. I do think Tyson is smarter than a lot of people give him credit for. I think in battle, he has great intellectual smarts about him. I wouldn't say he's the smartest, though, out of all of the Riordanverse characters. So for intellect, I would maybe give him like a 3.
I was thinking the same thing. He does rely on Percy in social situations to get by, but in a combat context, he's not an idiot. Even when peanut butter is his battle cry.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? I think I was going to put him a bit lower, but you're right. He actually is a little bit smarter than even what I remember. You're right. Yeah, and he gets also as he develops through these series, he does get smarter and he does get more aware. I think he's actually very in tune with emotions, so that is a form of intellect. I would say a 3 is a fair bet. Let's go with that.
And then strength, I mean, I'm giving him a 5.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's a Cyclops.
I mean, yeah.
Cyclopses are very strong.
Yeah, I mean, that's like their whole thing. Powers, I would say maybe a 4.
Sure. He's stronger, more durable, breathe underwater.
He can breathe underwater. He can grow fireproof. He can grow his size.
He can grow his size.
Yeah, right? Can he grow his size? Like, when they took down Typhon, didn't he, like, grow to be, like, 30 feet tall?
Was that his power, or was that Poseidon's power?
I thought Tyson also had it, but I could be wrong. Even if he doesn't have that,
I'm not sure.
I would still give him, like, a 4.
I'm going to double check that.
Okay, so we'll double check that, and then let's move on for now to skill. Do we ever see Tyson, like, fight with a sword?
No, don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
The Riordan wiki says he can grow to 30 feet tall at will.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Wow, I did not know that.
I vaguely remember, like, reading that.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. 30 feet tall. I mean, that's... okay, that changes for me. I didn't know he was... I thought that was Poseidon's power. Wow, that's cool. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave everything we've done, but yeah, that's just interesting fact. Thank you for fact-checking that. That's cool.
The more you know.
In terms of... What are we on? Powers or skill? I forget.
Skill. So now we're on skill. So...
Skill.
I think I'd put him at a 3 just because most of his potential comes from just raw strength, which I think is like power and strength. Skill-wise, like the more intricate battle techniques, I don't think he's as well versed in.
Right.
He has not had as much page time as Frank, having been left out of a majority of the Camp Half-Blood Chronicles. When he does show up, it's significant, but he does not quite have the battle experience that Frank does, or most
Yes.
other demigods do.
Exactly. Put perfectly.
Yep. I'm not gonna add much to that. I think it's perfect.
Cool. All right. So now we're going to move on to Frank with intellect.
Ooh. What are we thinking? What are we thinking?
Frank is, for me at least, a similar case to Hazel. Quite experienced in the battlefield, and he did technically get promoted to Praetor before Hazel did. He kind of came in as a replacement for Jason. It is pointed out in Son of Neptune that, I would say more so for Mars than Ares, he does have some natural gift for battle strategy.
Fair statements. To add on to that, yeah, I don't see him being... He's not stupid. Like, you see it inside his head for a good majority of the chapters. He's a smart guy. I don't think he's the smartest in the Riordanverse, but to call him, like, stupid doesn't really make sense. It's Frank, like, he knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy, especially near the end of the series, like you mentioned. He is a Praetor. And, you know, I'm no Praetor. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that entails, but you gotta be smart to be a Praetor for sure. You're a leader at camp. You gotta take care of things. And even just him in battle, you see him talk to people, you know, he's a smart guy. Yeah, it's Frank. What are you gonna do? I think he's a solid 4, personally.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Not Annabeth level genius, but still quite notable.
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely knowledgeable in battle and battle strategy.
Let's go to the strength now, shall we?
I mean, it's got to be a 5.
Strength counting him in his dragon form or whatever other giant animal he decides to turn into.
Yeah, for sure. And even not as a dragon, like after he got the blessing of Mars or the blessing of Ares, like he was just big. Like he was just strong anyway.
Yes. I remember that, and I remember when he kind of kept the strength the entire time, right? Like he never lost it.
Right.
So he got to a point where he can seamlessly like transform into multiple animals at will and attack at the same time. Like change into a bear, change into a snake, all
An eagle,
as a
yeah.
part of his movement. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. So 100%, it's a 5. Like he's honestly one of the strongest in the entire like demigod verse kind of thing, I think, at least.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I think I did like a strongest demigods list, and I can't remember if I put Frank at 2 or 1, but he was definitely up there.
And now our powers.
Powers, I would also do 5.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One of the only demigods who is already powerful just from the gifts of their godly parent, but also has other powers on top of that. Similar case to Hazel, frankly.
Yep, no arguments here. He has literally every power in the book.
Yeah.
I remember even who said it again? I forgot which character, but they're like, "Yeah, you're so powerful that like we had to nerf you, man. Sorry, you know, you know how it is."
His grandmother, I believe, is the one who told him that. Born with too many gifts.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure she said we have to nerf you too. Somewhere in the lines they said that as well. But yeah, it was his grandmother for sure.
I mean, it's just like you think like, oh, Jason can fly. I mean, so can Frank. He can turn into a dragon. Percy can breathe underwater. Oh, so can Frank. He can turn into a fish. Like, it's just like, you know, he has a counter for everything. Almost
Very
everything.
true.
And then skill, I feel like I'd maybe just drop him down a little bit and give him maybe a 4. How do you guys feel about that?
What do you have to say? I'll let you go first.
I was gonna ask the same thing.
I think
Okay.
I think personally, he is very skilled with weaponry. He's great in battle. I think as the series progressed, he kind of relied a little bit more on the transformation aspect of it. In a sense that, like, if Frank were to face, let's say, just Percy, no powers, only weaponry combat, I think Percy would edge him out just a little bit.
You know what's interesting? Like, I think if it wasn't for Tyrant's Tomb, I would agree with you. But, like, I think he's a 5, personally. After what that guy did in Tyrant's Tomb, I don't know. He's kind of like, and the thing is, he didn't, unless I'm misremembering, but I don't think he transformed during that entire fight.
I don't remember, but you might be right.
And I know that Caligula was like half a god. I don't know, like that. There's definitely some respect to that. There's 100% some respect to that, and he was also smart about it. So that's intellect.
Remember when Frank blew up, when Frank incinerated Caligula and almost himself along with, we need to remember this was after they destroyed the, what's it called, faces? The symbols of power that Caligula and Commodus had, which Apollo notes in Tower of Nero made them killable.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think I'd still give a 5, but hey, you're the final call, Kylan. You're the final call.
Yeah, I definitely see giving him a 5.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it doesn't change much anyways, but in terms of just our agreement here, I think a 5 makes sense. Okay,
yep.
What's the tallied score?
So the tallied score is Tyson with 15 and Frank at 19, which I think we both agree with.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Tyson's no slouch, like we said, but we were saying, Frank just kind of wipes him a little bit, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, agreed. All right, well, that was our Percy Jackson Death Battle. We killed Grover and we killed Tyson. So sorry.
2 prominent members in the next season. Well,
2 very prominent members in the next season. Kind of fitting.
And they went up against the 2 praetors of the Legion.
Yeah, which was very, very coincidental and funny. They literally went up against the power couple, the power praetors. But yeah, so thank you guys for joining me so much. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, whether you agree with us or you disagree with us. Let me know your take on it. And fear not, that's not all, because we're going to have part 2 and part 3 up on the Mythos Archives and that PJO Guy's channel. So please, if you're watching this first, go check out their videos. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, I'm signing off, and please stay safe.